Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is February the 6th, 2019. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Strong hand. Offended by selling. Be a unique beast. Unconfiscatable. World reserve crypto. Be curious. Don't be angry. Remember that last one for today. We're gonna talk about that in a second. All right. Check out all the links below. You can get T-shirts. You can get Trezor. Follow me at Twitter. Techbalt, TECHBALT, and Disrupt Meister. All my old videos. You know the story by now. I want to say on Friday, coming up this week in Bitcoin, 1 p.m. London time, that's 8 a.m. back in New York on the East Coast, United States. Sarah will be on from Tel Aviv. And I have my second person booked, the always enjoyable and maybe controversial Lorian Gamaroff from South Africa. He will be on. And he said he's up to debating people. I don't set these things up to be debates. Now, I know Sarah and Lorian aren't going to debate. I don't think. Well, you never know what's going to happen on the show. Now, if you want to debate Lorian, contact me. Maybe you could. Lorian said he'd debate. This is not about debating. This is about sharing information, peace. But so many people out there just love to see these battles. I don't, and that's the thing with these shows. You never know what's going to happen. The last 2 times I've had Lorian on, they've turned into debates. And they haven't been planned that way at all. So it's fun doing these shows. Yes, have a strong hand, like the shirt says. Buy and hold. And of course, what else do we say on this show? Trying to keep it positive. Pound that like button. So yeah, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. This is supposed to be this revolutionary new time that we're living in. And it has been quite, if you've been in this since 2013, like I have, it's been a roller coaster, and it has been revolutionary, and it is reminiscent to my youth when the internet was exploding. And it's just, it's so exciting to be an adult during this time. I'm so happy to be alive now, and it just feels like this was all meant to be. And I'm not going to get into all the deeper spiritual meanings, but yeah, this is supposed to be fun. Is what I'm trying to say here. And I'm always having fun. And we're always having a fun time on the show, I think. And, sometimes I can get a little angry. And, we're all guilty of a little bit of anger. But, right now in the crypto space, in the Bitcoin space, and you don't have to be happy. I'm not forcing this on you. But, hey, I'd like to be a happy person. But the vibe in most corners of crypto now is it's not positive. And it seems like it's in many people's nature to pile on with more negativity. There's a little bit of negativity, and then they get caught up in it, and there's name calling, there's scapegoating. Is this like, I wonder, for some people, it's probably some kind of form of projection, I guess. But you can, again, this is where the big boys play, and you should act like an adult. I think you should act like an adult, and I'm sharing this with everyone today. You can criticize people. That's great. But bullying people into submission or cursing at them, I don't think that helps. I don't think that helps the vibe. I don't think that helps adoption. I don't think that's very welcoming. I don't think we're going to get a lot of new people into this. And I don't think the revolution is going to go as fast as it could go. And it's going to cause people to drop out. And that's unfortunate. And people will become weak hands because of the negativity. And I'm all about being a strong hand. And and even some of the people that get, I've seen it go both ways. People get attacked, then they attack back, then they attack others. It's a vicious circle here. And I think people should slow down a little bit and be long-term thinkers. And before they type something, before they attack, before they scapegoat, they should just think, like, what in the long term, is this good? Is this good for my health? Is this good for the crypto space? But I don't think this helps. The negativity helps. Be a grown-up And you can ignore it. Grown-ups can ignore things. I ignore a lot of things out there. You know, on my Twitter, I don't block anyone, but at the same time, I don't respond to people at all. When, you know, a lot of people do @techball, this, I never respond. But I don't block people, so I still read it, but whatever. I'm a grown-up. I can ignore. I can also constructively criticize and bring up other coins on here and point out other problems and say, you know, talk about decentralization without centralization, with decentralization versus centralization without using curse words. And that's something I pride myself on this show. I think everyone knows I do not curse on the show. I tell everyone on the This Week in Bitcoin show, don't curse, but people end up cursing. And sometimes it's just in passing, but you know, the name calling with the cursing, it's just, I don't think it's very adult. And I think there are a lot of smart people in this space, and sometimes they don't act very intelligently. And so if fitting in is being negative, crude, and bullying, then this is not going to help speed up our bigger mission, or the bigger mission, which is to change the world. And it's not going to, you know, if you feel like you need to fit in, you need to bully and curse and criticize in an ad hominem type of way, then you know what, you're not going to be increasing your wealth either, most likely, if you're taking those negative straight. So you know, we can point out that there's many different paths in cryptocurrency. There are many different paths in increasing your Bitcoin stash, okay, in valuing your wealth in Bitcoin. And I think we should have, I think I enjoy having discussions with people about it. I don't enjoy getting into curse-filled tirades with people or reading curse. It disappoints me when I see other people needing to rip on another project, another coin, another way of looking at things, just to boost up their way of looking at things. And if you're right, you should know you're right, and you shouldn't need to rip on people in a malicious type of way. And with me, that's why I don't call myself a Bitcoin maximalist. I call myself a Bitcoin firster. I know that Bitcoin is the one. I know it's going to last. It's, you know, Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. I don't need to rip on and curse at Ripple or something like that, or IOTA. And sure, I bring them up. I bring up stories when, you know, they talk about there's been too many. No one knows how much Ripple has been printed, or when a university finds out problems about IOTA. But I don't go around calling them curse words. And I think this whole opening is just, I mean, I try to set an example out there. And I think everyone knows, if you do watch this show, a lot of people get a kick out of the positivity, out of the strong hand. And I'm trying to spread it. I'm trying to spread it out there. And yeah, I mean, if you want to curse at me, be my guest. I don't care. But I don't think that's helping the situation. We are in terms of fiat. Yeah, there's a lot of negativity because Bitcoin isn't worth as much as fiat as it was before. But value your wealth in Bitcoin. I got more Bitcoin than I had before. I mean, you always got to look on the brighter side of things. And so yeah, again, people have asked me, why do you allow people with different opinions than you on your show? I mean, they don't state it that way, but they're like, well, why is X allowed on your show? Why is Y allowed on your show? Because I'm not going to, if everyone agreed with me 100% of the time, it'd be a really boring world, and it'd be a really boring show too. It really would be, you know, when you have guests on your show, if you're just going to have a carbon copy of you, if there was a twin of Adam Meister, it would be pretty boring. No, it'd be pretty insane though. When, you know, that high energy level, like the computer would explode. Pound that like button. So yeah, but I mean, I have respectful people. I have people that I've met in person. I have people that I've met. I don't have trashy people, and I try not to. If I find out that someone's a kook, I don't have them back on again. And I don't even, you know, again, I have mentioned in the past, there have been people on the show that I've had that have turned out to be really negative people that I don't want to associate with. And so they're not on again. I don't call them out. I don't say, hey, XYZ is a total whatever. No, I just, you move on. You know, there's no need for me to get a revenge on someone. If you feel that need to, like, you know, after you've dismissed someone for your life, but you've got to bring them up again, then you might have an issue too. There might be some projection involved. So with all that, with that little intro out of the way, and maybe that will inspire people. Maybe again, because again, you know, after sometimes I read things from people that I respect, and they just blindly insult people blindly, what's the point of doing it? What's it adding? What is it adding? This is supposed to be fun. Let's make this fun. So whenever you're about to post something negative there, think, is this making life fun? Because, you know, when you post something negative, you might be getting a little like adrenaline rush for a second, but I don't think it's making your life better. I really don't think it's making your life better. So again, we can end and no one's perfect. No one is perfect. I'm not perfect either. Okay. We all say things that we regret, definitely. So yeah, moving on. Jack Dorsey mania. I mean, that's positive. It's positive that Jack Dorsey is the biggest story of the day on crypto Twitter, at least. And I mean, he's gotten into Bloomberg, and I'm going to read you some things here. It's clear that he likes Bitcoin. Okay, it's clear that he likes Bitcoin, but you got to take this in stride. You cannot get carried away. But I mean, you could derive some positives out of it. I mean, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade here or anything like that. I just went on a big, talk about staying positive. This is positive, but this isn't gonna. There's not a magic answer to end what's going on here. It's like, I think a lot of people think, well, if Jack Dorsey is tweeting about Bitcoin, then the value of Bitcoin is going to go up in terms of fiat. And it's not the magic answer. It's not the magic answer. The magic answer is long-term thinking. You just got to be patient. There'll be a series of things over time that will bring up the value of Bitcoin and fiat, but that's why you got to value your wealth in Bitcoin. So Bloomberg, what is this here? Jack Dorsey, when asked just how much Bitcoin he was holding, Dorsey responded with a simple enough. Well, is it really enough? And he only has Bitcoin. He only has Bitcoin. So he says, I mean, hey, I'll take his word for it for now. I think it's positive that he believes that, Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. It appears. Now, hey, don't get disappointed if one day the dude says, I like Litecoin now or something. I mean, anything can happen. So you don't want to put him too much on a pedestal, okay? You don't want to put him on a pedestal because he could say something one day that's going to be like, oh my God, it's the end of the world now, because he was the king of Bitcoin and now he's this. You gotta take it in stride. But yeah, right now he only has Bitcoin. But hey, dude, you say you have enough Bitcoin? Keep on trying to get that Bitcoin, dude. Keep on. Yeah, he's like almost a billionaire, right? I encourage him to buy more and more Bitcoin. Take it off the market, man. You got all the money in the world. Turn that fiat into Bitcoin. Pound that like button. All right, so that's good. Yeah, I have enough Bitcoin. Yeah. All right, I don't know how much the dude has, but all right. Breaker Magazine says Jack Dorsey celebrates Bitcoin, then drags Bcash, Ethereum, and altcoins. Okay, so yeah, he did make some points about Ethereum and Bcash and altcoins. He wasn't very positive on them, but he never said that Bitcoin would be the only cryptocurrency. He said it probably would be the native currency of the internet. So he's not a person that says die other coin, die. He's not the shark pool guy. It appears, and that's going back to my original talk right there. Shark pool. Let's go out there and destroy all the other altcoins. That's not a positive. That's not a positive. That's a negative. That's a negative addition to the space. I really think destruction of or wishing destruction of other coins, and some will. I mean, some will disappear eventually. But going out of your way to destroy coins, that's not. What's the point of that? If you're confident enough in Bitcoin, and again, I've totally gone off of Jack Dorsey. If you're confident enough in Bitcoin, you shouldn't need to destroy other coins. Let them be. Let them be. Ignore them. Hey, man, that's what I do. But when I get them for free, I'm going to turn them into Bitcoin, baby. I'm going to turn them into Bitcoin. All right. So Arjun had a really, well, first of all, before I get to Arjun, who was a guest on the This Week in Bitcoin show before, Stefan Livera in Australia has also been a guest on the This Week in Bitcoin show before. And during this, Jack Dorsey on all these he's tweeting out all this stuff about Bitcoin. Stefan Livera is in motion and invites the dude on his show. And he says yes. And so this Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, Jack. So if you want to hear more about Jack Dorsey, he's going to be on Stefan's show with Elizabeth Stark on at 1 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday. That is mentioned in the Breaker magazine article also. So that's great. Good job, Stefan Livera. Very, that hey, put the pressure on the dude. Keep on walking the walk, I guess. Is Twitter going to adopt Bitcoin? Get him to say yes. I don't know. So Arjun had a tweet about all this, and I love this take on it because again, this involves long-term thinking, and it shows you just how big this could be. If Jack Dorsey and Twitter really got behind Bitcoin, and this would be big news. But again, this will take time. The year is 2024. Via a Musk-like maneuver, Cash App and Twitter have morphed, creating a Bitcoin native millennial bank on top of the most important communication platform on the planet to offer uncensorable speech and payments. Jack wins the Nobel Prize. Okay, so that is, what's that say? Oh yeah, and so yeah, that's a good dream. Uncensorable speech and payments. Well, is Jack really into uncensorable speech though? Because Jack Dorsey people have been banned from Twitter. People have been banned. I mean, we have Gab. Gab wouldn't exist if Twitter was truly uncensorable. So let's see. He clearly believes in uncensorable money if he's a fan of Bitcoin. But does he believe in uncensorable speech on his own platform? We'll see. Maybe Bitcoin will give him the freedom to change Twitter in a different direction, because right now Twitter is going into the censoring type of direction. I mean, we can't, again, everyone's trying to put Jack Dorsey on this platform. He's like the king of the world. He's guilty of some things that I don't think a lot of us are happy about. His company has banned plenty of people, and Twitter does not. Again, it's a private company. He can do what he wants to do. And there's altcoin comments he made clearly. I've said many times that, well, maybe Bcash will bribe him to make Bcash the currency of Twitter. Well, from his comments, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, but you never know. It still could. But hey, I'll say this: those comments clearly take away that theory of mine that, hey, maybe one day. But again, still, Bcash or some other centralized currency, cryptocurrency, could bribe some platform at some point to adopt them. So be ready for that. It's just Bitcoin's still the next Bitcoin, but being that these altcoins are somewhat centralized and have figureheads that can bribe and whatnot, it'll happen. Maybe Facebook. There's talk about Facebook getting in the blockchain again and again. I mean, I've heard this story many a time. But hey, maybe they'll develop a partnership with Bcash one day. I had crazier things have happened in life. So finally, this is an interesting point. Jack and Get on Gab, which is the guy in charge of Gab, are examples of the diversity of Bitcoin. And I agree. Bitcoin doesn't lean left or right. This is true. This is true also. It leans to the individual. I agree. Persona, ideals, opinion don't matter in this space. Only to egos. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, if you got an ego, then yeah, it can get hurt in this space, but there is no, Bitcoin itself does not have an ego. All right, so pound that like button. Now inside well, first of all, I see a super chat. Let me go read that. Molotov Cocktail sent $2. He says, recognizing your daily YouTube webcast. Thank you, Molotov Cocktail. I really appreciate that you recognize that, yeah, there's a new show here every single day, and thank you for the $2 in the super chat. I do appreciate all the support and the positive feedback that you dudes give me. It's great, man. And we might go in some different directions soon. Maybe a couple shorter shows, a couple extra shows, maybe an outside show. Just kind of talking about the positive aspects of this, or how to stay positive in this time, and how to get more Bitcoin. Just not to be in attack mode all the time. or be in tattletale mode all the time. Oh, God. All right. So inside of the cryptocurrency world, which most of the people watching this video are deep inside of it. This Lightning Network, it's big. It's important. This Lightning, what is this? The thing they're passing around, the LightningTorch. It's a big thing. But I got to tell you the truth, guys. Outside of cryptocurrency, which is like 99.9% of the world, and even some people that are in cryptocurrency and are golden holders, or just they don't want to know about technical details. This isn't a selling point. This isn't a selling point. This LightningTorch. People are not going to get this. This is that, and this is one of the unfortunate things about the direction we kind of go in this space. We really get in this. We're in this little loop in our own little world here, and it is a little world. We're really excited about Lightning now. We're really excited. Oh, look how cool LightningTorch was. All these people passed around little pieces of Bitcoin to each other, and it's adding up. But and then you think that's going to change. That's going to be the thing that's going to bring people in, and all these people are going to buy Bitcoin, but it's not. But on the other side, when something, when there's a negative story, it is very easy to understand from the outside world. A Canadian Bitcoin exchange goes down because the owner lost the password to the coins. And again, it's a little bit more complex than that, but people eat that up, and it scares them away. They're like, wait a second, the biggest exchange in Canada can't keep their Bitcoin. How could I keep my Bitcoin? And that's pretty simple to explain. And so again, going back to the positivity, let's create some easier stories for regular people to understand. And I think maybe the Jack Dorsey thing might be like, hey, Twitter might pay you Bitcoin to post. Like, oh, that is something that regular people can understand and be like, well, maybe I got to get in on this Bitcoin thing. But once you're like talking about, well, Jack might adopt Lightning Network because he was playing around with LightningTorch. Whether that's people are going to be like, what the heck are you saying? It makes no sense to me. I don't know what Lightning Network is. I don't know what LightningTorch is. But speaking of LightningTorch, though, hey, for us insiders, what started as an impulsive experiment in the community, in community trust, has turned into a movement so hot that even Twitter's co-founder Jack Dorsey took part in it. And so yeah, if you understand Lightning, like all these people are like, they send me information about Lightning Network, and they want me to talk about it. And again, I talk about Lightning Network a lot, but this isn't in terms of long-term thinking. This isn't what's going to get new people into it. Okay, this isn't. Now, in terms of long-term thinking, is this something that people will appreciate later? Oh yeah, once they understand it, once people are buying stuff with Bitcoin, once artificial intelligence is buying stuff from each other with micropayments. Yeah, this is going to be a really tremendous thing. But it's not. It's not the spark to get people in, right? I mean, maybe the Twitter thing will be the spark to get more and more people in. But I get excited. I think people can tell that I get excited when more traditional financial paradigms are incorporated into Bitcoin that can be easily explained. Like, I remember telling my father and my mother when I coined that crypto dividend term, I'm like, all you do is you're holding this one coin and you get these free ones, and then you could turn them into more Bitcoin. And they're like, well, it's like getting interest. It's like getting a dividend. And that is something they could grasp. And that is something that, people, that's a positive thing. It's a positive thing. When we hear about these crypto dividends, but then you get these people that just start screaming, scam. Everything's a scam. Everything's a scam. And I mean, look at, the same people that scream everything's I don't want to make generalizations here, but so many people that, scream about scams are the same people they're so smart and they're so technically sophisticated. And then they start to talk about all these technically sophisticated things, and they think this is gonna help the environment. And it might help the environment to a certain extent, but you got to be able to talk the language of everyone. You got to, and if you can't talk the language of everyone and you refuse to talk the language of everyone, then you become this elitist, and you're and it almost becomes a cult, and where you're turning people off. And again, in the long run, in the short run, a lot of people are going to be turned off by people acting like elitists, by people screaming scam, by people just insisting on talking on a technical mumbo jumbo level because they can. This isn't going to change the world if we're all speaking this techno mumble jumbo and whatever. It's sophistication. It is, sure, you're technically sophisticated. You're awesome. Keep working hard. I appreciate the technical people working hard, but if you're in this mindset where you're like, I'm a technical genius, I don't have a lot of Bitcoin, I'm kind of angry I don't have a lot of Bitcoin, and thus I'm going to project and just attack everything, it's just not good. You've got to address your own issues. That if you don't think you have enough Bitcoin, it's your fault. You can still get out. And if you feel like it's unfair that someone that's not as technically sophisticated as you has more Bitcoin than you, that you've got an issue. And I think that's an issue here. I think that is an issue here. And I think there have been times even with, I can admit that I've seen people that they've done so well with a lot of nonsense projects. Let's just call them nonsense projects. And they've clearly attained a lot of Bitcoin, and they're not that smart people. And I reacted negatively to them. And you know what? They did it. So what? They got a lot of Bitcoin from doing what they did. I cannot change that. I have to be comfortable with that. We all have to be comfortable that people that we think are not as smart as us, not as talented as us, they're going to have more Bitcoin. They're going to be more successful. That's the way of life. And you just got to ignore it. You got to move on. You cannot become fixated with it, and you cannot present an aura of anger about it. Okay. And again, we've all been guilty of it. We've all said, you know what? Wait a second. How did that happen? What about, But just and again, so it's projection. So you address what you're projecting, and then you're like, wait a second, come on, I can still get Bitcoin. I can still, let that person do what they're going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Let's keep it. As long as I keep this thing positive, we're going to get more and more people into this thing. So yeah, we're all, no one is perfect out there. No one is perfect out there. But I have made it a point not to curse at people. I made a point to try to be as respectful as possible to people with completely differing ideas. And again, I warn people to not join certain movements, to be careful. But I can't be their mother. I'm not the Bitcoin mommy. I'm not the Bitcoin mommy. And a lot of people try to be the Bitcoin mommy. And again, they have it. And I think it stems from their own issues. I don't know. If you feel it, it's personal responsibility is a new counterculture here. So again, I warn you, I tell you to put your stuff on your Trezor, and to not keep things on exchanges, and not to trade if you don't understand it. But hey, people are going to do it. I can't be their mommy. I can't be their mommy. I've given constructive advice, and I'll continue to give constructive advice. But I'm not going to take it to the next level and shame them and say, you XYZ, you shouldn't have done that. You're a loser, and whatever. All right. So Guy Bennett says, beginner's guide to watching the One Bitcoin show. Always keep a strong hand, play back all YouTube videos at 2x, and pound that freaking like button. Dude, Guy Bennett, that is so true. Because especially this show where I have talked a lot, you got to play this thing at 2x, man. You got to get through some of that stuff that I just talked about, man. I'm making up a lot of this stuff as I go along, because, I've got a lot of thoughts on what has been going on. I'm trying to turn, because again, I see a lot of negativity out there. And I wish I didn't have to say I saw a lot of negativity, but I got to tell you the truth. I see a lot of negativity out there, and I'm trying to come up with ways to keep this even more positive on this channel, to spread that positive word. Because again, if this is all as cyclical as I think it is, and I lived through 2015, if this is the equivalent of 2015, then then this fiat bear market's got a little way to go. It's got a way to go. I mean, the financial situation, the FUD that's out there could last this entire year. I want people to be ready for that. But you know, there's positive aspects to all of this. When we find a positive aspect, let's share it. Let's share it. As I did the other day with the crypto dividends, as I will continue to tell people how to get more Bitcoin. As I said, I post this stuff at Steemit. I post all my stuff at Steemit. I earn this thing called Steem. I turn it into Bitcoin. Well, I haven't done it for a while, but I keep earning the Steem. You can see there's the public record is on there. It shows you how much Steem I'm earning. So, I mean, again, there are glimmers of hope. And they're not glimmers of hope. There's a lot of hope, and there's a lot of happiness and positive aspects of cryptocurrency that are going on during this so-called bear market. And those of us who take advantage of this time of cheap Bitcoin, and they can acquire more Bitcoin during this period. Oh my God, when things are on the other side, when everyone's, you know, mad happy, like at the end of 2017, it's gonna, oh my God, you're gonna be so happy that you value your wealth in Bitcoin. It's just, I mean, if you feel down now, I can tell you, like, try to think of what the opposite of that is times 100. And that's how you're gonna feel in 2021, let's say. You got to defer gratification for now. Just keep on stacking that Bitcoin, man. And yeah, let's all talk a common language of respect, and try to think like about what an outsider would think of all this. And if what you're doing, you think an outsider would be like, yeah, this is cool, I understand it, then awesome. Then keep on doing what you're doing, man. Keep on doing what you're doing. And again, this is where the big boys play. So you can go your own direction. You don't have to say what I'm saying. You don't have to do what I'm saying here. And people are going to be negative. This is where the big boys play. But be an adult and ignore them. That's the best advice I can get. That's what my mom, my dad always taught me. You know, if someone's just ignore. You got to be able to ignore, and that's something hard. It's a skill that's gained over time. Young people cannot ignore. And it seems like in this day of social media that it's becoming more and more adults are just finding it hard not to engage in trollish behavior and in arguments. And it's just wasting your time. You're better off just getting more Bitcoin. If someone says, I don't like the way you got Bitcoin, that's hilarious. That's actually hilarious. I don't like the way you, but that's what it boils down to a lot sometimes, is that people are saying, I don't have a lot of Bitcoin and I don't like the way you got your Bitcoin. Oh, well, no one's keeping you from getting Bitcoin. That's the beauty of this thing. So let's talk about Satoshi Light. Charlie Lee tweeted this out, and I had to mention this because people ask me about Litecoin all the time. Team has been chatting with Beam Privacy team about MimbleWimble on Litecoin with extension blocks. So as we all know, this MimbleWimble thing is is definitely a flavor of the month, and maybe they're going to test it out on Litecoin. Hey, dude, I'm telling you, you got to pay to buy your Litecoin, and that's great. You know, Satoshi, if Charlie Lee if he somehow convinces the Litecoin people to experiment with MimbleWimble and Litecoin, then great. Let's see how it works. But for now, it looks like us Bitcoin holders, we're going to get the MimbleWimble coin crypto dividend. So we're going to be able to experiment for free and then turn that MimbleWimble coin into Bitcoin. Pound that like button, baby. Crypto dividends. But no, so Litecoin is talking MimbleWimble too. So, I mean, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about MimbleWimble. Privacy. I'm going to talk about privacy in a second here too. Right now, I'm going to talk about privacy. In fact, coincenter.org has an article. It is, we must protect our ability to transact privately online. Without cryptocurrency, a cashless society is a surveillance society. And that's a really awesome point there, because we're going to get to a point where they're going to be, every nation is going to have its own Fed coin. And some people are going to be like, oh, this is so awesome. I can, I can change my USA Fed coin into my Japanese Fed coin, and I can buy stuff with my USA Fed coin in Japan so easily. Oh, all these Fed coins are so great. But And we have a cashless society. I don't need to use dollars anymore. But they're keeping track of every single thing. There's no privacy anymore. I mean, again, you can have a world of centralized cryptocurrencies or centralized digital currencies, whatever you want to call them. And it's a cashless society, and things run very smoothly. But but they have a track. Your governments, they can keep track of every transaction you ever made, and you can be like China, where you get a social credit score. But with Bitcoin, we need Bitcoin to fight that, because you're going to get some level of privacy with that. And again, people are working hard on making it more private. And again, we just mentioned one thing that involves privacy. Is MimbleWimble going to be the answer? I have no idea. All right. So here's an article, and this goes back to Jack Dorsey. It says, breaking news. Laura Loomer has now been banned from Twitter, Medium, Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, GoFundMe, Venmo, MGM Resorts, and now PayPal. So again, I would advise to Laura Loomer to get a Bitcoin address, clearly. Clearly, but it shows you that everything can be every centralized organization can choose to kick you out. And that's the beauty of Bitcoin. It can't kick you out. And so but Laura Loomer has been banned from Twitter. So we will see what direction Jack goes in the future. But it is interesting that Jack Dorsey likes Bitcoin, so he says, and so does the one that's the opposite of Twitter that I don't use. I mentioned the guy before. What's it called? The opposite of Twitter. I keep calling it the opposite of Twitter. What is this thing called? What is it? A Gab. The Gab guy. And so that is the beauty of Bitcoin. And I don't think a lot of liberal type of people even understand that yet. People on the Democrat side of things in the United States understand that hey, Bitcoin's for them too. It's not some conservative thing. Maybe Jack Dorsey will open the eyes of people on that side of the political spectrum. And I know some of their eyes have definitely been open. Okay, finally, we got Chris Black, who's been on the show before, and maybe he'll be on the show on Friday. I try to get in touch with him. Cryptocurrency is, someone said this. He didn't say this. Cryptocurrency is purely academic and not practical. And he said, sort of like the internet was in 1992. Oh yeah, pound that like button. So lots of good things that become easy to use. They start out purely academic and not practical at all. So let's every day Bitcoin is taking steps to becoming less in the purely academic realm and not practical. Okay, but and there are ways of speeding that up and talking in a language that is not technical and focusing on some of the non-technical, easy to understand aspects of Bitcoin is going to speed up that process, because people are going to, it's going to get new people into the space who feel comfortable and then who will become technologically savvy with it. And if we talk in terms that everyone can understand, then we're going to be more and more ideas are going to be created, and that killer app will just it will be born out of I think it'll be born from people who come up with very practical ideas that are easy to understand for, like, my mom, even, that involve Bitcoin. Because again, my mom can understand aspects of Bitcoin. Definitely. There are, store of value. People, those are things that we can, crypto dividends, even that aspect of it. So, okay, that's it. That was a long one today. TechBalt, I am on Twitter, TechBalt. Pound that like button, bang that bell button. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the links below, and don't worry, be happy. as was it Bobby McFarlane? Was that his name? As he said, don't worry,